Hello everyone! The StarScope channel is here with you again. Timothée Chalamet, born December 27, 1995, is an American and French actor. His accolades include a Screen Actors Guild Award, in addition to nominations for 2 Academy Awards, 4 British Academy Film Awards and 4 Golden Globe Awards. Often presented as one of the best and most promising actors of our generation. Chalamet began his career in television, appearing in the drama series Homeland in 2012. In 2014, while a student at Columbia University, he made his film debut in the comedy drama Men, Women and Children and appeared in Christopher Nolan's science fiction film Interstellar. Chalamet came to international attention with the lead role of a love-struck teenager in Luca Guadagnino's coming-of-age film Call Me By Your Name, 2017, earning him a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Actor, becoming the 3rd youngest nominee in the category. Alongside supporting roles in Greta Gerwig's films Lady Bird, 2017, and Little Women, 2019, Chalamet took on a starring role as drug addict Nick Sheff in the biopic Beautiful Boy, 2018. Chalamet then began leading big-budget films, portraying Paul Atreides in Denis Villeneuve's science fiction films Dune, 2021, and Dune, Part 2, 2024, and Willy Wonka in the musical fantasy film Wonka, 2023. For his portrayal of Bob Dylan in the biographical drama A Complete Unknown, 2024, which he also produced, he was nominated for another Academy Award and became the youngest winner of the SAG Award for Best Actor. On stage, Chalamet starred in John Patrick Shanley's autobiographical play Prodigal Son in 2016, for which he won a Lucille Lortel Award and gained a nomination for a Drama League Award. Off-screen, he has been labeled as a sex symbol and a fashion icon. Our show today will be dedicated to his evolution in cinema. So get comfortable and let's go! Timothée Chalamet made his big screen debut in the 2014 American comedy drama film, Men, Women and Children, in the supporting role of Danny Vance. Set in a small town in Texas, this film follows several teens and their parents as they struggle in today's technology-obsessed world. Their communication, self-images, and relationships are all affected by the technological age, compounding the usual social difficulties people already encounter. He also appeared in the 2014 epic science fiction film, Interstellar as 15-year-old Tom. Set in a dystopian future where Earth is suffering from catastrophic blight and famine, the film follows a group of astronauts who travel through a wormhole near Saturn in search of a new home for mankind. The same year, 2014, Timothée Chalamet appeared in a cameo role in the American comedy film, Worst Friends, as young Sam, one of the main characters in the film. Worst Friends has been described as a dark indie comedy. The film is set in an unnamed New Jersey suburb and focuses around a number of key characters. The film opens explaining the close but troubled friendship of two young boys. In 2015, Timothée Chalamet started the American independent fantasy thriller, 1 and 2 as Zach, Daniel and Elizabeth's elder son, and Eva's brother, who also has the ability to teleport. The film follows a Christian family of 4 who live peacefully in purposeful isolation. The children, Eva and Zach, are able to teleport short distances, provided they can see where they are going. They use their powers for fun as they chase each other around the farm and drop into the lake. A large wall surrounds the family property. Their father, Daniel, is a stern disciplinarian who forbids them from using their powers as he believes them unnatural. His wife Elizabeth is extremely frail, suffering from seizures where she cannot breathe, and he believes her illness is punishment from God due to his children using their powers. And in the 2015 American crime drama film, The Adderall Diaries, he played the young version of the film's main character, Stephen Elliott. Stephen Elliott is a successful author with a troubled childhood. His mother died when he was a child and his father Neil was physically and psychologically abusive. From his adolescence, Stephen has lived most of his life behaving very destructively, abusing drugs, of which Adderall is an example, and committing petty vandalism. In the same 2015, Timothée also appeared in the American Christmas comedy drama film, Love the Coopers as Charlie Cooper, Charlotte and Sam's grandson, Hank and Angie's son and Madison and Beau's brother. In 2016, we saw Timothée Chalamet in the American comedy drama film, Miss Stevens, as William Billy Mittman. Rachel Stevens is a 29-year-old California high school English teacher who volunteers to chaperone 3 of her students to a drama competition for the weekend: the organized Margot, affable Sam, and the struggling but talented Billy. On Friday, she meets with the principal to discuss details and learns Billy is on medication for a behavioral disorder. Arriving at the hotel, the group checks in and, during a mixer, Rachel meets another teacher named Walter. They hint about their attraction to each other despite his wife and later have awkward sex in his hotel room. While coming back to her room, she sees Billy sitting with his head in his hands outside his room. When she confronts him, he laughs it off and says he lost his key. Rachel returns and spends the rest of the night drinking in her bedroom and rehearsing dialogue that she uses in the classroom. The following year, 2017, was a very productive year for Timothée Chalamet. We first saw him on screen in Elio Perlman's coming-of-age romantic drama film, Call Me By Your Name. Set in northern Italy in 1983, Call Me By Your Name chronicles the romantic relationship between 17-year-old Elio Perlman and Oliver, a 24-year-old graduate student assistant to Elio's father Samuel, an archaeology professor. In the summer of 1983, Elio Perlman, a 17-year-old Jewish French-Italian boy, lives with his parents in rural northern Italy. Elio's father, a professor of archaeology, invites a 24-year-old Jewish-American graduate student, Oliver, to live with the family over the summer and help with his academic paperwork. Elio, an introspective bookworm and musician, initially thinks he has little in common with Oliver, who appears confident and carefree. Elio spends much of the summer reading, playing piano, and hanging out with his childhood friends, Chiara and Marzia. During a volleyball match, Oliver touches Elio's back, but Elio brushes it off. Elio later finds himself jealous upon seeing Oliver kiss Chiara. Chalamet's next character in 2017 was Daniel in the neo-noir coming-of-age crime drama film, Hot Summer Nights. Set on Cape Cod in the summer of 1991, the plot follows Daniel Middleton, a teenage boy who becomes entangled in the drug trade. In 1991, Daniel, an awkward teenager, is sent by his mother to spend the summer with his aunt on Cape Cod after the death of his father. He's not excited about it at first, but soon he meets Hunter Strawberry, the bad boy in town. While working at a convenience store, Hunter hurriedly asks Daniel to hide marijuana from approaching police. They later become business partners in selling drugs from a man named Dex. He provides Daniel and Hunter with the marijuana they need to facilitate their business, but warns them about the fatal consequences if he gets crossed. In the same year, 2017, Chalamet also played the role of Kyle Scheibel in the American coming-of-age comedy drama film, Lady Bird. Set in Sacramento, California during the early 2000s, it focuses on a high school senior who shares a turbulent relationship with her mother. Lady Bird's new relationships begin to fall apart. After she is suspended from school for heckling a guest speaker at an anti-abortion assembly, Jenna tries to visit her and learns that Lady Bird gave her a fake address in an affluent neighborhood. Lady Bird kisses Kyle at a party, and they confess to each other that they are both virgins. However, when they have underwhelming sex for the first time, Kyle admits he was lying. Deeply wounded, Lady Bird seeks comfort from her mother, who provides it without asking why. And the 2017 American Western drama film, Hostels, as Private Philippe Desjardins, the youngest member of the detail to escort Yellow Hawk home. It follows a U.S. Army cavalry officer in 1892 who must escort a Cheyenne war chief and his family back to their home in Montana. In 2018, Timothee Chalamet appeared on the big screen as Nicholas Nick Shelf in the American biographical drama film, A Beautiful Boy. In the film, the father-son relationship between David Sheff and Nick Sheff becomes increasingly strained by the latter's drug addiction. New York Times writer David Sheff's teenage son Nicholas Nick Sheff goes missing, reappearing in their home 2 days later. Seeing obvious signs of drug use, David takes Nick to a rehab clinic. Progress is made, and Nick transfers to a halfway house, with the agreement of Nick's doctors. Days later, Nick disappears, and David finds him homeless in the streets. Timothée started 2019 in the role of Gatsby Wells in the American romantic comedy film, A Rainy Day in New York. The film follows the romantic exploits of two young college students, Gatsby and Ashley, while on a weekend visit to New York City, Gatsby's hometown. He hopes to deepen their relationship while she's in the city to interview a film director for their college newspaper. In the same 2019, we could also see Timothée Chalamet in the body of King Henry V, in the epic historical drama film, The King. The film focuses on the rise of Henry V as king after his father dies, as he also must navigate palace politics, the war his father left behind, and the emotional strings of his past life. King Henry IV of England has several sons, including the eldest, Henry, Prince of Wales, Hal, and Thomas. Hal, uninterested in succeeding his father, spends his days drinking, whoring, and jesting with his companion Falstaff in Eastcheap. And in 2019, the American New Age drama film Little Women, in which he plays Theodore Laurie Lawrence's role. In 1868, Jo March works as a teacher in New York City. Mr. Dashwood, an editor, has agreed to publish her short story. Meanwhile, her youngest sister, Amy, who is in Paris with their Aunt March, attends a party with the March's childhood friend and neighbor, Laurie. Amy becomes angry at Laurie's drunken behavior, prompting him to mock her for spending time with wealthy businessman Fred Vaughn. Jo is hurt and angry when Friedrich Baer, a German professor who lives at her boarding house, gives critical feedback on her writing. Upon learning that her younger sister Beth's illness has worsened, Jo returns home to Concord, Massachusetts. In American anthology comedy drama film, The French Dispatch, Timothée Chalamet played the role of Zephyr Olivier. In 1975, in the fictional French town of Anuy-sur-Blaise, Arthur Howitzer Jr., the editor of the magazine The French Dispatch, dies of a heart attack. According to the wishes expressed in his will, publication of the magazine is immediately suspended following one final farewell issue, in which 4 articles are published, along with an obituary. And in the American epic space opera film, Dune, he portrayed Paul Atreides, ducal heir of House Atreides. It is the first of a 2-part adaptation of the 1965 novel by Frank Herbert. Set in the distant future, the film follows Paul Atreides as his family, the noble House Atreides, is thrust into a war for the deadly and inhospitable desert planet Arrakis. In the same year 2021, we could see Timothée Chalamet in the documentary film, A Man Named Scott. He was himself. The film follows the career of Kid Cudi, born Scott Mescudi, beginning with the release of his influential 2009 debut album Man on the Moon, The End of Day, which featured songs that dealt with depression, anxiety, and loneliness. The film explores his creative process over the past decade, as well as his struggles and breakthroughs. Also 2021 American political satire black comedy film, Don't Look Up Azul, a young shoplifter whom Kate befriends. The film tells the story of two astronomers attempting to warn humanity about an approaching comet that will destroy human civilization. The impact event is an allegory for climate change, and the film is a satire of government, political, celebrity, and media indifference to the climate crisis. In 2022, Timothée Chalamet played the role of Lee in the romantic horror film, Bones and All. Set in the late 1980s, a pair of young cannibals who develop feelings for each other on a road trip across the United States. In 1988, teenager Marin yearly lives in Virginia, where she is invited to a sleepover, although she knows she's not allowed to go. She sneaks out, and afterwards, she bites up a girl's finger, partially severing it. Marin and her single father, Frank, quickly moved to Maryland. Shortly after Marin's 18th birthday, Frank abandons her, leaving her cash, her birth certificate, and a tape. In the 2023 musical fantasy film, Wonka, Timothée played Willy Wonka, a 22-year-old aspiring magician, inventor, and chocolatier with a difficult dream to open his very own chocolate shop. Willy Wonka, a young chocolatier, arrives at the Gallery's Gourmet with dreams of establishing his own chocolate shop. Wonka is coerced to stay at Mrs. Scribbit's boarding house by her co-worker, Bleacher, and unknowingly signs a predatory contract due to his illiteracy. He introduces hover chalks, which make the consumer fly, but rival chocolatiers Arthur Slugworth, Gerald Prodnose, and Felix Fickelgruber have his earnings confiscated by the police for selling without a shop. Unable to pay the contract's exorbitant fees, Wonka is forced to work in Scrubbit's laundrette alongside her foster daughter, Noodle, and fellow captives Abacus Crunch, Piper Benz, Larry Chucklesworth, and Lottie Bell. (2024) Timothée Chalamet in American epic space opera film, Dune, Part 2 played Paul Atreides, the exiled Duke of House Atreides, who sides with the Freemen to overthrow the tyrannical House Harkonnen. The sequel to Dune, 2021, it is the second of a two-part adaptation of the 1965 novel Dune by Frank Herbert. It follows Paul Atreides as he unites with the Freeman people of the desert planet Arrakis to wage war against House Harkonnen. In the same year, Chalamet portrayed Bob Dylan in the American biographical musical drama film, A Complete Unknown. Loosely based on the 2015 book Dylan Goes Electric by Elijah Wald, the film portrays Dylan through his earliest folk music success until the momentous controversy over his use of electric instruments. Marty Supreme is an American sports adventure comedy drama film set to premiere on December 25, 2025. Timothee Chalamet will portray Marty Mauser. This was a journey through all of Timothée Chalamet's big screen movies in which he starred. I hope you had a good time, and don't be lazy to share your impressions and insights in the comments. And if you liked this video, and want to see the next video of a similar genre and be the first, click like, subscribe to the StarScope channel, and click the bell. It won't cost you anything. Thank you for watching, and as always, see you soon here on the StarScope channel.